So jumping into this trailer breakdown, for some reference, this ride is obviously based off of the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, which you can find in Universal's Islands of Adventure, the original version of it in Universal's Islands of Adventure. And also for reference, I have not ridden this ride. I've been to Universal, but I've not ridden this ride, but I have seen ride POV of the real life attraction many times. So I do have some good comparison. And to first start off in this video, obviously we get the facade, which is cool. We've seen that for quite a while now. And we jump into that iconic shot from the real life ride where Spider-Man jumps at the screen telling you, hey, it's time to get going on this adventure. And what I love personally about this Spider-Man costume that they are taking references from, we really get the best of both worlds. So we get sort of this costume that sort of takes inspiration from the Spider-Man video game, with those white outlines around the blue sections of his suit. And we also just have a lot of detail going on in the face. And what I do love about that mask is that we have the eyes sort of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. And again, we get those spider web detailing really of the Tobey Maguire era. And the reflection off the eyes just looks great. Obviously, this is probably filmed with higher graphics on Roblox. But even without keeping that in mind, I mean, I think it just looks spectacular. And of course, the facade in the background with the buildings also looks great. The lighting looks really nice, and it's doing a great job of immersing the audience. So next up, we get a clip from a scene that comes a little later in the real-life ride, where Scream, Electro, Doc Ock, and Hobgoblin all kind of notice that the audience is there, and Doc Ock basically sort of uses this ray gun and lifts up the torch from the Statue of Liberty. And from this, I can't really see Doc Ock, but I'm sure he's hidden back there behind the torch. And it's very cool to see Scream in the ride as well, and of course Electro. And then we see our first look at what Universal Roblox is interpreting as Hobgoblin, which we'll see a better look at this later in the trailer, so I won't get too much into that. But they're going more for Goblin than they are Hobgoblin. And next up, we get a clip where Doc Ock rushes the audience in a scene that also comes a little bit later than the last one. And again, what we're seeing is them taking more inspiration really from the MCU and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. When I say MCU, I really mean Spider-Man No Way Home, which I'll mention more about the Goblin a little later. But yes, so this is taking a lot of inspiration from Alfred Molina's version of Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire film. As you can see, he's got the glasses, which do look like the glasses from the ride, but his suit is more in tandem with the movie, which I think is a really cool way to make Web Adventures stand out from the real-life version, to take inspiration more from the movies than the ride. I think that's cool. Another thing that also makes it stand out is you could also see with Doc Ock's arms that the actual ends of the arms have the red glowing dot as they do in the movie, which I think, I can't remember specifically, but it could be possible that is like that in the real life ride, but I think very clearly they're trying to take inspiration from the movie version more than the ride. So next up, as it's very clearly, they're showing clips chronologically from the ride. We get a scene where in the real life ride, it's Hobgoblin rushing at the audience. And very clearly, this is where we can see that this is not really Hobgoblin. It's more so Green Goblin from the Tobey Maguire films played by Willem Dafoe. And even more so, it looks like Green Goblin when he was portrayed in Spider-Man No Way Home. He's got the hood and really his hoverboard. It looks more so like the Spider-Man No Way Home film. And obviously, he doesn't really have the glowing eyes. He doesn't really have orange going on in his suit anywhere. He doesn't really have the glowing pumpkin. It's very clearly that they're going for Green Goblin from Spider-Man No Way Home and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man than they are Hobgoblin. And I'm all here for that. I really think that's a really cool way to go with it. And then another thing that I just have to mention, the scenery in the background, all the detail going into the buildings and the water just looks great. The depth of field looks great, and another really impressive facade here. And moving into the next scene, which literally happens right after the Hobgoblin scene in the real life ride, we have Doc Ock trying to attack Spider-Man, and he sort of attacks that front of the movie theater there with the movie theater time facade. And this is almost spot on to the real life ride, even going down to the references with the signs. Obviously, I think they changed some of the wording and some of the names of the shops, but I mean, it looks almost identical. And again, just another cool shot. We're getting to see Spider-Man in action, Doc Ock in action, and it looks great. Not much really to add on there. And next up, we get the shot of the ride vehicle moving up, where in the real life ride, it moves up and then you get dropped down at some point, similar to Rise of the Resistance. It's a similar sort of ride system. And I think this looks great. It looks very accurate to the real life version. And our final shot here, they just went right down to the T when it came to trying to make this as accurate as possible to the real life version. They got the Statue of Liberty in the background. They got the 70 Club sign, the produce sign, and a couple other signs, like the pawn shop sign and the room sign. That is all in the real life ride, and I think this looks great. You know, it's the ending shot, and again, they've made it look accurate. They put their own spin on it with Doc Ock and Green Goblin and their version of the Spider-Man suit. It all looks very great. And the detail in the buildings look great. They find a way to balance that realism and the low poly feel like very, very well. And yeah, so that's the Web Adventures trailer. What I'm most interested in the real life version of the attraction, once you get lifted up, it really is just a lot of screen-based technology as you're like flying through the city with Spider-Man. So I'm really interested to see like how they're going to approach that. Obviously, with all these other scenes, they're really just go into the room, sit there, you get to see him for a bit, you know, like the screen-based technology in real life. Obviously, they're adapting it to be actual scenes in their version of the game, which is a great way to go about it, the most effective way to go about it for immersion. So I'm wondering for this portion of the ride that is so heavily based on screens, I'm wondering how they're going to adapt that, because obviously they didn't really show much in between there, in between being lifted up and Spider-Man saving the day. But we got a lot of great looks. I really want to see that classic shot of Electro with the two power cables as he's coming in to greet the audience. I'm excited to see that shot, and I hope to see you all there, either at the VIP preview or the general public opening of the ride coming later this month.